Weak erections after 60, fatigue, lack of confidence. You know baking soda for cleaning, maybe even for cooking. But what if I told you its most powerful use could be to rekindle male vitality? This is a discovery that's changing how I treat my patients over 60. My name is Mariah. As a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience, I help men overcome exactly these issues. The ones most are too embarrassed to talk about: poor circulation, erections that aren't what they used to be, low energy, and that emotional exhaustion. And what I've found is that the secret doesn't always lie in expensive medications, but in rebalancing the body from within. I've seen with my own eyes the power of something as simple as baking soda transform the lives of men like you. Used the right way, baking soda can help unlock blood flow, optimize your hormones, and create the foundation for stronger, longer-lasting erections. In this video, I'll show you 10 science-backed ways to use baking soda to reclaim your potency and confidence. And watch until the end, because I'll reveal the exact morning combination one of my patients used and got results he couldn't even believe. Before we start, if you're a man over 60 who cares about natural ways to stay strong, energized, and confident, hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell. You won't want to miss more science-backed tips made just for you. And if this topic speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I always want to improve and bring content that truly helps. All right, let's start with benefit number 1, and it's surprising because it's all about your blood's pH. And why is this so important? Here's why. Most men don't realize it, but as the years go by, our bodies tend to become more acidic. And that acidity, even if mild, works silently. It tightens your blood vessels. This blocks the smooth, strong blood flow that's essential for a firm erection. That's where baking soda comes in. I remember a patient, Robert, 69 years old, newly retired. He came to my office visibly frustrated. He told me, "Doctor, Mariah, I don't feel like a man anymore. I try, the desire is there, but my body just doesn't respond like it used to." His blood tests were normal, his heart was great, but when I dug deeper, I found the clue. His internal pH was too acidic. This acidity makes arteries narrower and stiffer. They lose the ability to expand and deliver the blood volume needed for a real erection. Think of it like trying to water your garden with a kinked hose. The water just doesn't flow right. This is where baking soda shines quietly. As a natural alkalizer, it helps your body rebalance its pH. Taken the right way, which I'll teach you, it improves blood fluidity, helps arteries relax, and creates the perfect environment for oxygen and nutrients to reach where they're needed. And Robert? What happened to him? I suggested a simple routine with a bit of baking soda and lemon water in the morning. 3 weeks later, he came back to the office smiling. He said, "Something's shifted. It's subtle, but I feel my body awake again." And my wife, she noticed the difference. Understand, this first step of rebalancing pH is the foundation for everything else. Blood that flows freely delivers more oxygen, more nutrients, and more life to the areas that matter most to a man. And when that balance is restored, the effects go far beyond the bedroom. But what if I told you baking soda doesn't just improve circulation? What if it fought the invisible inflammation that's been sabotaging your performance for years? Let's move to the second benefit, which might be even more critical than the first. Now, let's talk about benefit number 2, and this one is crucial. Many men over 60 blame testosterone when performance drops, but the real enemy, most of the time, is something else. It's inflammation. It's slow, silent, and constant. I call it the silent thief. It doesn't shout, it doesn't make noise, but over time it erodes your blood vessels, your energy, your sensitivity, and your erections. Let me tell you about Stephen, a 71-year-old patient of mine. Strong voice, proud, but his eyes told the truth. He said, "Doctor, Mariah, it feels like my body's fighting against me. When I need it most, it just doesn't respond." We ran tests. Cholesterol was good, no diabetes, but his blood inflammation markers were through the roof. That was the clue. See, this chronic inflammation hardens the inner lining of your arteries, the exact place where nitric oxide, the signal to relax and fill with blood, should be produced. When inflammation takes over, that system gets stuck. Blood flow slows, sensitivity drops, and your body can't respond like it used to. That's why baking soda is such a powerful ally. Studies show it stimulates your body's anti-inflammatory pathways. It helps calm that internal fight, especially in your blood vessels. And when inflammation eases, the magic happens. Vessels open up, nitric oxide flows again, and erections become possible again. Not forced, but natural. And Stephen. He started a simple protocol: half a teaspoon of baking soda in water in the morning, plus a 15-minute walk. A month later, he told me, "Doctor, Mariah, it's like something unclogged inside me." He wasn't just having more frequent morning erections, he felt more energy and clarity. It was the feeling of less pressure, more ease. But here's the fascinating part. Beating inflammation is critical, but your body still needs that green light for an erection to happen, nitric oxide. And believe it or not, baking soda has a surprising role in that too. What I'll show you in the next benefit could be the real turning point for you. If you've ever wondered, why don't things just happen like they used to? The answer might lie in one key molecule, nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as the spark that starts it all. It's what tells your blood vessels to open. It's what signals your muscles to relax. And most importantly, it's what directs blood to the penis when the moment is right. Without that spark, arousal might exist in your mind, but physically, nothing happens. I remember Richard, a 66-year-old patient, healthy, active, hormones in check. But he said something that stuck with me. "Doctor, Mariah, the desire is there, but it's like my body switch just won't turn on anymore." That's exactly what a lack of nitric oxide feels like. Your brain says yes, your heart says yes, but your blood vessels don't respond. And here's the good news. Baking soda doesn't contain nitric oxide. It creates the ideal environment for your own body to produce it naturally. See, when your body is too acidic, nitric oxide breaks down much faster. Baking soda helps alkalize your blood, protecting that precious molecule and letting it do its job. In studies, athletes who used baking soda had better vascular performance. Why? Because their bodies could generate more nitric oxide under stress. And what works for an athlete's endurance works for an erection too. Both need fast, expansive blood flow. Richard tried it. We added baking soda with lemon in the morning and some breathing exercises. A few weeks later, he told me, "I'm waking up with something I haven't seen in years." His body was finally responding again, naturally. But nitric oxide is just the start, because it's no use getting blood there if it's not carrying what really matters, oxygen. If your oxygen delivery system is sluggish, your performance will be too. And thankfully, baking soda can help with that. I'll explain why in the next benefit. Did you know that strong erections don't just depend on how much blood gets there, but on the quality of that blood? The forgotten secret after 60 is this: oxygen. Not the oxygen you breathe, but the precise, targeted oxygen delivered straight to the tissues inside your penis. Without enough oxygen, even if blood arrives, the tissue can't fully expand or respond. The result? Weak erections that don't last or don't even happen. I remember George, a 72-year-old retired firefighter. a man who always prided himself on being strong and in control. But his words were full of frustration. He said, "Doctor, Mariah, I feel like I'm running out of fuel down there. Everything's slower, heavier, duller." His tests were fine, but one detail stood out. His oxygen saturation was at the lower end, and that's common. With age, and especially with acidity and inflammation, our red blood cells lose efficiency at carrying oxygen. This is where baking soda plays a subtle but critical role. It doesn't just fight acidity, it optimizes how your hemoglobin releases oxygen to tissues. When your blood is more alkaline, hemoglobin can deliver its oxygen load far more effectively. That means more fuel reaching the penile tissue, supporting firmer, more sustainable erections. George started the morning ritual I suggested. In a few weeks, he told me something incredible. He said, "The feeling during intimacy changed. It's warmer, like everything's flowing again, like it should." That warmth he described, that's real oxygenation in action. When oxygen finally reaches its destination, your body feels alive, alert, and capable. But oxygen isn't just for the initial arousal. It's the fuel for the small muscles that sustain an erection. And if those muscles are tired, performance crumbles, even with good blood flow. That brings us straight to the next benefit, one that's about your body's hidden energy system and how baking soda can naturally recharge it. Having an erection is one thing. Sustaining that erection, that's a whole different story. And the secret to that lies in some unsung heroes most men have never heard of, smooth muscle cells. These cells don't just help blood get into the penis. They're responsible for trapping the blood there, keeping the erection firm and lasting. And at the heart of their power is one thing: energy. I remember Gerald, a 68-year-old retired mechanic, a sharp, intelligent man, but in our first appointment he confessed in a low voice, "Doctor, Mariah, it's not just that I can't get as hard as before. It's like the system shuts off halfway. I feel like the fuel just runs out." That image stayed with me. And when I explained that the energy engines inside his cells, mitochondria, were likely slowing down, it all made sense to him. Think of mitochondria as the tiny power plants inside every cell. They take fuel, oxygen, and nutrients and turn it into energy. But with age, acidity, and inflammation, those power plants start malfunctioning. And when they fail, the erection fails too. The penis can't hold the blood because the muscles don't have the strength to do it. This is where baking soda acts as an energy restorer. It helps create the ideal internal environment for those little power plants to run at peak efficiency again. Gerald started a simple protocol with baking soda a few times a week. A month later, he said something I'll never forget. "Dr. Mariah, it's like the engine's turning on again. It's not perfect, but it's alive." That's exactly what mitochondrial renewal feels like. Quiet, steady, and deeply energizing. And the most fascinating part, those power plants aren't the only thing affected by acidity. Your hormones, especially testosterone, depend on that internal environment too. Next, we'll explore how baking soda doesn't just boost energy, but helps your body hear testosterone signal better. One of the biggest frustrations I hear from men in my office, it's when they tell me, "Dr. Mariah, my testosterone tests are normal, but I'm still tired, unmotivated, and in the bedroom. Nothing happens." And they're right. The number on the paper is often fine, but what I explain next usually surprises them. Having testosterone in your blood is only half the story. The other half, the part almost no one talks about, is whether your body can use that testosterone. This is called receptor sensitivity. Think of it this way: your hormones are the message, and your cells are the listeners. Years of inflammation and acidity create noise, static. It's like trying to hear someone shouting from the other side of a wall. The message is being sent, but it's not received clearly. I vividly remember Mark, a 64-year-old retired police officer, strong, sharp-minded, but with a defeated look. He said the same thing. "My tests are fine, doctor." Mariah: "So why do I feel so switched off?" This is where baking soda works in a way most men don't expect. It doesn't boost testosterone, it clears the static. By reducing acidity and inflammation, it creates a clean environment so your cell's receptors can finally hear testosterone's signal and respond. Mark started a simple baking soda routine. 6 weeks later, he came back smiling. He said, "My drive is back." Not just in the bedroom, but in life. It's like someone flipped the switch again. That switch wasn't more testosterone. It was his body finally using the testosterone it already had. So, yes, baking soda helps your body make better use of hormones, fueling desire, motivation, and strength. But even with balanced hormones, they need to be processed, and your blood needs to be filtered. And the organs responsible for that, your liver and kidneys, can be overloaded too. What baking soda does for them could be the missing piece. Let's find out. Now, let's talk about something almost no one connects to male performance: the health of your internal filters, your liver and kidneys. One of the most overlooked reasons for loss of vitality after 60 is what I call toxic load. Over time, your body builds up metabolic waste, and the two organs responsible for that cleanup are your liver and kidneys. When those filters get overloaded, everything in your body slows down. Blood gets heavier, hormones go out of balance, circulation weakens. Even mood and mental clarity fade. That's why so many men who seem healthy on the outside feel completely stuck on the inside. I always think of Charles, a 70-year-old retired accountant, clean diet, never smoked. But he came in and said, "Doctor, Mariah, I feel toxic, like something's wrong deep down." His blood pressure was creeping up, his libido was dropping. Tests showed exactly that: slight overload in his kidneys and signs of a sluggish liver. Nothing alarming, but enough to explain exactly how he felt. This is where baking soda works quietly. It helps reduce the acidic load on the kidneys, making filtration easier. For the liver, it promotes better bile flow, easing the burden of waste. And most importantly, it does this gently, without being harsh, which is perfect for men who need extra support without overloading the system. Charles started a simple routine with baking soda on alternate days. 3 weeks later, he reported something profound. He said, "My body feels lighter, like I'm not carrying so much weight." And intimacy? It started coming back, slowly but noticeably, because when the organs that process your hormones and filter your blood work better, everything else starts to respond. And now let's take it one step further. Ever wondered why that belly fat is so stubborn? And those sugar cravings that hit out of nowhere? What if I told you that's directly tied to your liver's health, and that baking soda can help break that cycle? What's coming next will surprise you even more. Now let's talk about that stubborn belly fat, the kind that feels like it's here to stay no matter what you do. And those cravings for sweets or carbs that hit out of nowhere, especially at night. Well, it's not just about diet, it's hormonal, and it's directly sabotaging your erections. I remember Julian, a 66-year-old former coach. He walked into my office, slapped his belly, and said, frustrated, "Dr. Mariah, this belly, it's ruining my life. I can't get rid of it, and it's killing my desire." He'd tried everything, cutting calories, walking every day, but the cravings, the lack of energy, and the drop in bedroom performance. Nothing changed. What most men don't know is that belly fat is a hormone factory for estrogen. It produces an enzyme that converts your precious testosterone into estrogen. So the math is simple. more belly fat, less free testosterone. And when your hormones are out of whack, everything falls apart: desire, circulation, performance. This is where baking soda steps in as a regulator. By helping balance your body's pH, it supports more stable blood sugar levels. That, in turn, disarms those intense cravings that sabotage your progress. And when you're not on the sugar roller coaster anymore, your body can finally shift back into fat-burning mode, especially around the waist. Julian added a simple habit: baking soda with lemon in the morning. In 4 weeks, the cravings eased, his belly started shrinking, and most importantly, his confidence came back. He told me, "I don't feel out of control anymore, and when I look in the mirror, I don't see a man giving up." Less sugar, less fat, more balanced hormones, and a better shot at the life you deserve. But there's still one piece missing in this puzzle, one most men completely overlook. What if the reason you feel stuck in the bedroom isn't physical, but neurological? What if your nervous system is sending the wrong signals? And baking soda could help reset that. Let's find out now. There's a part of male performance almost no one talks about. It's not blood flow, it's not testosterone, it's your nervous system. If your brain and nerves aren't aligned with the moment, even the healthiest body in the world can shut off. I see it all the time. Men who feel the desire, want the intimacy, but when the moment comes, the body doesn't follow. And most of the time, the issue isn't physical, it's neurological. I remember a retired military man, Anthony, 70 years old, strong posture, clear eyes, but his voice dropped when we got to the real reason for his visit. He said, "Doctor, Mariah, I still love my wife, but every time we get close, I panic. My body just freezes." That's when I realized the issue wasn't his heart or hormones. His nervous system was stuck in high alert mode, the famous fight-or-flight state. What most don't know is that stress and chronic inflammation keep your body in that tense state. And when that happens, your brain, to protect you, literally shuts off blood flow to the extremities. It's a survival mechanism that works against intimacy. Here, baking soda does something that seems strange, but science is starting to confirm. By reducing systemic acidity and inflammation, it helps your body shift out of fight or flight and into rest and relax mode. It creates the internal calm your body needs to feel safe, open, and responsive. Anthony started using baking soda a few times a week. A few weeks later, the difference was profound. He told me, "It's like my body finally feels safe to connect again." For him, that changed everything, not just physically, but emotionally too. When your body feels calm, everything else falls into sync. And what if we could take everything we've talked about so far, blood flow, oxygen, energy, calm, and amplify it even more by combining baking soda with one other simple natural ingredient? That's exactly what we'll find out in the final benefit, and trust me, you won't want to miss this. And now, the final tip, the one that ties everything we've talked about together. We've seen how baking soda can impact blood flow, oxygen, hormones, energy, and even nervous system calm. But what if there was a way to amplify all of it with one single step? The secret isn't just baking soda, it's what you combine it with. And the answer, once again, is in your kitchen: lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. On their own, they're already great. But when you combine them with baking soda, a little magic happens. They create a reaction that helps baking soda be absorbed more efficiently and gently, supporting the liver and blood vessels without overloading the system. I'll never forget Bernard, 74 years old, widowed for 5 years. He was starting to date again, but felt, in his words, rusted. We'd already talked about diet and exercise, but something was still missing. So I suggested a simple morning ritual, a glass of warm water, a squeeze of lemon, and a quarter teaspoon of baking soda taken on an empty stomach. A month later, he came back radiant. He said, "Doctor, Mariah, I didn't expect much, but I wake up feeling more alive. My gut feels lighter, my mind clearer, and—" a slight pause. "I'm responding again." That combination doesn't force anything. It supports the whole system. It helps bring the body back to balance so it can function as it was designed to. And that's the whole point. Real, lasting change doesn't come from a magic pill. It comes from restoring balance and giving your body the tools it needs to heal. And baking soda, especially with this combination, is one of those powerful tools. Now that you've seen the 10 benefits, the question is, okay, Mariah, but how do I do this the right and safe way? That's exactly what I'll show you now. Let's tie it all together and give you the step-by-step to get started. We started with balancing blood pH for better circulation. Then we saw how it reduces inflammation, the silent thief of potency. We talked about supporting nitric oxide production and improving oxygen delivery. We explored how it fuels mitochondrial energy for longer-lasting erections and boosts testosterone sensitivity. We saw its role in detoxifying the liver and kidneys, and how it helps curb sugar cravings. Finally, we saw how it calms the nervous system and becomes even more powerful when combined with lemon or apple cider vinegar. So how do you start? The general recommendation is to start small. A quarter to half a teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of warm water, preferably with a squeeze of lemon or a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar on an empty stomach a few times a week. But, most importantly, every body is unique. Talk to your doctor before starting any new routine. This information is educational and doesn't replace the advice of a healthcare professional who knows your history. If you've made it this far, I thank you. It shows you care about your health and your future. If this video gave you hope or a new perspective, please leave a like and share it with a friend who could benefit too. And don't forget to subscribe for more real, science-backed tips for men who want to live with strength and vitality at any age. I'm Mariah. Stay strong, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.